Okay, class. So let's move on to the last topic, which is waste management. So we are done with maintenance management. I hope you understood from the previous class, like everything related to it. Waste management involves we like basically we talked about Six Sigma maintenance, which is there in maintenance, which we learned as one of the new scientific techniques in maintenance management, right? Wherein we identify 7 different types of waste, industrial waste, and we try to eliminate those waste. So deriving from that concept, let's discuss what is waste. Okay. Waste can be any unwanted material. Yes, that is a normal types of waste. But what is waste in terms of, the business world or the industry, manufacturing side? What is waste management? Okay, what are the different types of waste? Industrial waste as well as the normal one, and how exactly can we manage? So this might sound like an EVS class to you, but you might have questions. Okay, so I won't say that you should not give importance. You cannot afford to leave any chapter in form, but this is one which you can either save it for the end. That's okay. There are other chapters which require more of importance, but for the internal, learn all of this, the concepts, like how I told you, go through the PPTs and everything, and let's move on now. Yeah. Okay, so waste is any unwanted or unusable materials, materials which are either not wanted or which you cannot use. So waste can be with in terms of manufacturing, we can say that waste, like all other materials, how do you land up with the waste in the first place? You feed a lot of materials into your machine, they process it, all right. Okay, you utilize those materials, but some turn bad, or some the output which comes out, some turn bad, some cannot be used, some have to be thrown off. Yeah, those are your different waste. Is it clear to you? So here, any thing which arises out of a productive activity or production activity which is of no use or has to be discarded, we call it as waste. And it's only the goods which you can sell which add value to the customer. How do you add value? Whatever raw materials you have fed in, the difference between that and the value of the finished goods gives you the total value added by a manufacturing firm. But the problem here is, even if you do that, okay, if you generate waste, those waste cannot be added on to customers. Customers won't accept defective goods. They're not fine with it. Okay, they cannot do with the waste goods. So what do? They refuse to buy it. Is it clear to you? So in a way, it does not add to the value of the customer. So yeah, so these costs do add on to the cost of production, and as a result, uh, the people are not ready to pay for the defects. See, why do I say it adds on to the cost of production? When do we come to know it's a waste? Only after that production thing is complete, the process is complete, and after that, when you check the output, thing is bad. But you have already spent some machine hours, some man hours. We have already spent raw materials. Even though the product turned out to be defective, we have already incurred cost in producing that product. We can understand whether it's a waste only towards the end of the output, when you get your final output. That is a normal case with waste. But you have already spent something on making that product, even though it turned out to be defective. So what can we say? It adds on to your cost of production, but it's of no use. It does not add value to the customer. You cannot realize the cost you have incurred. So once you have spent something on that way, product which turned out to be bad, you cannot you cannot sell it to get back the money. No, you have to incur the cost. Now, waste management refers to all the activities which you have to undertake in order to dispose and eliminate your waste in the best method. We have environmental safety issues, we have environment protection issues. What is the best way in order to eliminate such type of waste? There are two main concepts which is discussed under waste management. First is waste hierarchy. We have all heard about it. 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. You very well know what does the three mean. Yes. We can also add recover. So now it's 4 R's. So we have reduce, reuse, recycle and recover. Reduce is where you try to adopt measures in order to reduce the total number of waste to a considerable level. Reuse is where you try to see whether the waste can be used in a different method for something else. Recycle is where you have to recycle some. You get recycled paper, which is used as parchment paper, as handmade paper, and all that. You can recycle in that manner. You can also recycle plastic bottles, right? So those are the methods which we have come across in EVS. Then recover is almost similar to reuse. You try to extract something valuable from the waste. The best out of waste concept which we had in school, something like that. So these have a very important role. So the best option for an organization, we have a hierarchy chart which I'll share in the notes, wherein you have prevention of the waste on top, we have reduce, reuse, recycle, recover, and towards the end we have to dispose it off. Okay, so the best option is to prevent, which is on the top of the pyramid, and the least favorable option is to dispose it. So rather than dumping it somewhere, it's better that we go and prevent it. I'll share the hierarchy so you'll have an understanding, and the 4 R's are also important. Polluter pays the principle. So this is the general thing. Any party or any organization or anyone who adds on to the pollution in the environment, they'll have to pay the penalty for this. That is why we say polluter pays the principle. Yes, you get fined if you dump garbage anywhere outside the city rather than giving it to the collectors, waste collectors. You dump it somewhere else, you get into trouble. Yes, so you'll have to pay up the fine for it. So these are the measures which are taken for waste management. What are the different types of waste? In general, there are 4 types of waste. We have liquid waste, those such as sewage or any other thing which is in liquid form, or where the dirty water which carries the pollutant. Those are generally liquid waste. Solid waste are the semi-solid or solid waste which come out, either in the form of paper, plastic, or metal. Okay, they do not flow around, they are stationary. So, and we have to dump them normally in the landfill. And then we have hazardous waste, like your waste generated from pharmaceutical industries, that unwanted drugs which if taken by someone else would create a problem. You have the nuclear waste. So all of them come under hazardous waste. And behind my video you have the non-hazardous waste. This is generally a paper and all that, which do not cause any harmful thing to the environment. Yes, some of them can be non-biodegradable, that is an issue, but otherwise it is very easy to dispose them of. Hazardous waste, you cannot dump it somewhere. No, you spoil the environment imbalance, you pose a serious threat. So based on the treatment, based on the type, we can differentiate into these 4 types. But with regard to industrial waste, we have 7 types. So this is where lean maintenance come into picture. Yes, okay. So I think I discussed about lean maintenance, right from start, that we derive the waste. Yeah. So first one is transport. Transport is where you try to find out whether there is any unwanted raw material, okay, or other inventory which is moved unnecessarily from one place to another. Okay, any material, any raw material, any machines, equipment which is moved for no reason within the factory. You simply move it here, then you move it here, but you don't use it. So that is a waste again. Is it clear to you? Inventory is all types of your raw material, your component, your spare part. If you overstock it, it leads to a wastage. If you have quite a surplus, it is very difficult to dispose it of, because you spend 1 lakh in raw material and you use only 40,000, 60,000, you don't even use it. It's simply piled up there. That is a waste. Okay. Then we have motion, wherein you simply operate the machines or equipment for no reason. Simply make it run. Okay. This leads to cost. That is a wastage of some sort. Okay. Then we have waiting. So you just need to know what is it, not in detail. Waiting is where you finish the first stage of production. You don't do the second stage. You take that work in progress and pile it up as inventory. You keep it waiting. You don't move it out. That is your waiting waste which comes under weighting concept. You just need to understand what does it mean. These come for 2 marks mostly, so you can very well understand what do each waste mean. Then we have over processing. More features are being added to a machine for to a product for no reason. Okay, you simply add different features, you make it more complex, you make your product very complex. Sometimes the user might be consumer might be confused as to how to use the product. Don't add so many extra features that consumers are finding it difficult to use the product. This would simply make your profits, make your customers, the level of customers go down. So what you need to do is whatever features are apt for that product, you introduce only those features. Okay, don't over process it, don't give it a lot of things, especially in your food industry. If you in the case of your processes, if you overcook certain food items, such as if you are a ketchup making industry, if you overcook your tomatoes, you don't land with the right product, so that can be an issue. You understand? So over processing of any kind has to be avoided. Overproduction, don't produce anything which exceeds the demand. If that's the case, you will have to shift those excess goods into your godown or your warehouse, and they might never be sold. Okay, you will have, it would take a lot of time to sell those. So don't pile up, don't make a lot of products, don't do a lot of production which is not required to meet the demand. So it is very important you analyze the market. Based on the demand, you make the goods. If not, don't make it. Don't make excess goods. Defects. Try to avoid defects as much as possible. Yes, we have quality control techniques. Yes, we have workers working at quality. But if you want all the techniques to happen properly and proper goods of the right quality and the right quantity to be delivered, we have to check the product for defects. We have inspection as one of the main things in inventory management. We have quality control, which we learned under PPC. So all of them are still there. Okay, all have to be in place, but from the production point of view, we have to take steps in order to ensure that the defects are less. Out of 100 units, if 80 turn out to be defective, you can sell only 20 of them. So reduce the number of defects. So transport is where we check that raw materials or equipment is not moved around the organization for no reason. Inventory is where you pile up the right quantity of raw materials and other spare parts, components in the right quantity. That is, you try to adopt a inventory control technique. Motion is where you don't let machines run for no reason, for unwanted reason. You don't keep material handling equipment, you don't switch it on for a longer time, because it adds on to your fuel cost. Waiting, don't keep a lot of work in progress. Whatever work has to be finished, finish it and keep it. Okay. Over processing, don't add extra features to the product. Not a good idea. Overproduction, don't produce more goods than what is required. Okay. Defects, try to reduce the number of defects in the total output. I hope the points are very clear. I hope so. Okay. Management of waste, you are more or less familiar with each point. Okay. You should be familiarized. Collection is where you you can check it with the usual thing which happens at home. So we have BBMP officials who not officials, the workers who turn up at home either in the morning or evening or whatever might be the schedule. They come with their trucks, they collect the waste, biodegradable, degradable, non-biodegradable. So all of them are collected separately sometimes, or all of them are collected together. Okay, and this collection can happen door to door in a normal residential areas, but in the industries they have to go to each machine or each process line, go to the end, ask the workers and get the goods on time. Is it clear to you? Yes? All right. Is it fine? Fine. Then transportation. So suppose you're getting your waste. So compare it with the residential thing. You take the waste from the homes, you travel by trucks, you go to the place where you have to segregate the waste. Okay, where you divide it into biodegradable, degradable, you split out the waste. On the way, if things waste start falling from the truck, yes, it adds to the bad smell, but when you have a lot of covers and those slippery polythenes in and around the place, there are times when two-wheelers have skidded over this and people have the injury has happened to a lot of people, right? A lot of injuries. So the thing here is, if the transportation is compromised upon, you don't carry your waste well to one particular area, you tend to leave it around, and people can either slip, they can skid, whatever way the thing, it would cause them body harm. Okay, so the thing about here is, when now you're related with industry, when you take the waste from each of them, when you are involved in the process of getting the waste from these points to the final area where you have to split the thing, see that the waste does not fall off here and there. It gives a very messy experience uh, about the entire factory if waste is thrown here and there while you're carrying it, but also it leads to accidents like slipping, skidding, and all of that. Is it clear to you? Segregation. Waste has to be segregated. Segregated as, like, maybe you have some electronic waste which comes under e-waste. We have biodegradable waste, non-biodegradable waste. All those has to be split off. Food industries especially, you would have different classifications of food industry waste, sorry. So you have to find out how exactly to divide and segregate the waste. You cannot dispose everything together. You have to separate it. Disposal of waste. What method are you planning to dispose? If you have to release a lot of, say, liquid waste, okay, you have to ensure that your drains and sewage is in a proper manner, okay, whether you can dispose it off in that way, or suppose you have to dispose it maybe just like that, but though it causes some environmental issues, you can give certain treatment to it. Okay, there are certain effluent treatments which can be done on these waste so that it's completely taken off. Is it clear to you? Yes. So people can efficiently treat the liquid waste in a proper manner by subjecting it to certain emission treatments or effluent treatment. Once the treatment is done, when it is treated properly, you can dispose it of easily. So based on the type of waste, you can decide about different measures to dispose of the waste. You can, some people either have to burn it or bury it. So based on the requirement, you would have to dispose your waste. There's no point in storing waste, right, in your organization. You will have to dispose it someday or the other. Recycle. From the waste which is almost about to get disposed, find out the different things which can be recycled. Especially, you must have heard, right, in your bottles, normal plastic bottles, there is a number like 1 or 2 which is given within a triangle. You guys should be knowing about this. So if it is given as 1 below the bottle, it means you can recycle the product once. If it's given 2, so once you recycle the first time the plastic bottle, you can again recycle it. So those are the measures. So based on the grade of the plastic which is used, we set up the times till when you can recycle it. So recycling is a process which we learned in school, which is evidently used in most places. Okay, there are restaurants and other places where they use recycled paper, recycled tissue paper, which is kind of hard, but it is easier to do it. Your handmade paper, all of them fall under that. Control. Yes, especially with by reflecting on defects, like how I mentioned, 100 units, 80 turn out to be defective, 20 good. This is not a good figure. You have to learn different ways in order to minimize the waste. The ways you can do it is good quality control in every stage, after every stage. Good maintain that there is proper operational efficiency of men, machines, equipment. Everything is in proper place. Okay, the minute you step out of line, it's going to be a problem. In the case of inventory, you can adopt a very good inventory control technique. There are numerous techniques, but there might be just this 1 or 2 techniques which is apt for your organization. Find out which one is it and try to reduce your waste. So these are your general steps which you can write a lot about this, okay, in your paper, but this is what you need to understand. Is it clear to you? All right. Then we'll discuss about scrap and surplus. Scrap is where you do some sort of production, okay, what is the residue because of certain types of manufacture. It's not like it has gone wrong or something, but you are landed up with a lot of discarded material. So you do the manufacturing process, you find out, okay, some of them are not required, especially we pertain to machinery, okay, of smaller types. Rather than products, when you say scrap, it normally refers to different parts of the machinery which have to be discarded. So in the case of maintenance, where one machine there are few components, we learned it in equipment reliability. So if one component has gone wrong, you will have to remove it. That turns out to be a scrap because you're replacing it with some other component. So those which come out as a residue because of the manufacturing process, we call it as scrap. They generally pertain to the different parts of machinery. Okay. Now surplus is where, be it your raw materials or equipment, you went wrong about the planning of these materials. That is, you must have either purchased huge quantity. Yeah, you have purchased a lot of quantity which is beyond your requirement. You don't need so much. Okay, it is quite an excess. It leads to overstocking, yes, but especially when you compare a food industry like how it's shown in the picture, the food, whatever ingredients you use, those are perishable in nature. You stock up a lot, those gets perished, then your disposal, like you have to find out different methods to dispose the waste. Perishable items are subject to quick degradation, right? You can no longer use it. So it is better you don't overstock. But if somewhere purchasing is not perfect, you might go wrong. Planning is not perfect, you might go wrong. You have to learn from your mistakes, but then when you find out that planning and purchasing has gone bad and you are left with a huge excess of, be raw material, equipment, whatever be the thing, we have to dispose it of. So this is your surplus. They have value, okay, they can be used for production, but it has gone beyond your production capacity. They are of use. Scrap is not of much use for that concerned thing, it's discarded. But surplus is where there is use for it, but you are not able to use it. That's the general way to put it in. So there are different small methods of ensuring that you can dispose of scrap and surplus. First is feedback. You can go to every department in the factory, check out, okay, what is the normal waste which is, or scrap or surplus which is procured from department A, what is the one from department B, what is from department C, how much of the waste are they procuring every month. So you can get the data from, or the feedback from, different user departments. Okay, this is one way of getting it. Second one is, so next time when you do it, you can ensure that maybe the department A says, okay, we are generating at least 60% is coming out as waste. So which means that we have to place more controls in department A in order to ensure that the defects or the waste is coming out less. So this can be done. You can analyze this solution. You can find out the solution only if you have the right data. So data has to be collected from each department, return to the supplier. So if it's from the point of raw materials, some of them which have been dispatched to you are bad, you will have to return it to the supplier and he has to replace or return the amount which is paid to him. Third one is direct sale to another company. What is kind of waste for you guys can be given to another company. For example, if I'm making tomato flavored chips, okay, the tomatoes that I need is less, I have something excess. Now we have the ketchup industry which requires a lot of tomatoes. You can try to sell it to the other supplier saying that we have an excess, would you like to purchase, and sell it off to them. You can make a profit out of it. Sometimes you have to sell it at the original cost. So this is where you can directly sell it to another company who requires it. The fourth type is you can recover, reuse, or sort. Try to make use of the waste. Best out of waste is the concept here. See whether you can derive something from the waste. You can recover something of good value, reuse it, and get it back into the production line. Okay, so you try to find out what is the best out of the entire waste, find out in which ways, in what ways can you use up the waste for your own production activities. And finally, disposal route, you can see research is conducted in almost every industry. People do come out with reports, be it KPMG, EY, any other research institutes. They do a lot of focus on these things. So if you have certain scrap material, especially, you can give it to educational institutions who can be trained in what way it can be done. You understood the thing? For example, the lift operating industry, the research institute. So if you have a broken lift or something which related to the lift, you can donate it to such institutions, so the students would be able to understand how does it work. So all this is done. Okay, we are not simply making up things. All this is pretty much done in the world. So these scrap or surplus can be given off to, donated to any educational or research institutions where the students can make a better use of it by studying all those aspects. Is it clear to you? Okay. And the last topic is salvage and recovery. Again, scrap, surplus, salvage and all looks familiar with each other, but the way you do it is different. Is it clear to you? Surplus, mostly we related to the raw materials. Surplus of raw materials, we'll have to dispose it of. Salvage is where there are certain things which undergo production but they cannot be used up. Okay, for example, I do a production with this cotton. I do it in the production cycle. Towards the end, I find out, okay, 60% of the cotton cannot be used for any further processing. That is where it stocks up. See, like how the picture is given, you have to discard it, keep it off from the manufacturing thing. That is called as salvage. You understand? Those are, this is used to make, say, cotton thread, proper cotton thread, but somewhere in the middle we understand that it's not of much use, so you will have to remove it from this cycle, and later when it can be used somewhere else, maybe for the repairs, not in case of cotton, any other metal or something where it can be used for the repair or maintenance or something like that, you can make use of this salvage. So surplus is where you can give, you talk about raw materials, the surplus being there and how you dispose it. Salvage is where somewhere in between the production or towards the end you find out that there are certain things which cannot be used for that purpose. Okay, 60% of the cotton is not good, so what do you have to do it, you have to take it off and see whether you can use that to make something else. You understand the point? Okay. Something which is again closer to it is resource recovery or the recover concept, which means that you have to try to get the best out of the waste which is generated. See whether you can derive any valuable thing from the waste as such. So you see this picture which says using synthetic biology to recover precious metals from electronic waste. Electronic waste, a huge waste which is contributed directly and indirectly by the hardware industries, hardware manufacturing industry. So electronic waste we treated with bio bleaching and all that. So those process you will understand once you get the entire PPT without my video, and you do some chemical process in which you can melt them, you can treat them, and finally you land up with valuable materials. So this waste, see whether you can make something out of it which adds value to your organization, okay, which you can use for production. So that is the process of recover. So we learned about scrap, undue residue which you do not need, yes, and which you have to try to dispose it of, normally refers to different parts of machinery. We have surplus pertaining to raw materials. You buy excess, this is where your planning has gone wrong, you would have to dispose it. We found out 5 different techniques of disposing it off. Then we learned about salvage, those which are there in the production process, but because you cannot use it, you'll have to make them away. These also lead to your defective items too. And one main thing which I had to bring out, Bajaj V, right? That is the bike which is used. Some of the parts are used from the residue from dismantling the ship INS Vikrant. right? So you Google on this, you will find more. So when the ship was dismantled, some of those were used to make the Bajaj V bikes. Bajaj V, I think that's the name. So those are where you try to break out, or you try to remove the defective one. You try to split it and see whether you can fit it somewhere else. That can be done. Recovery is where almost the same concept. You try to derive something of value which can be added to your production process from the waste which is generated. So the concepts are same. Everything is almost the same. So you have to understand the different types of waste, the different concepts of scrap, salvage, and all of that. Go through. It might sound simple. Go through it. You have any questions, please do revert it back. This is the end of all the units. Okay. See, different teachers use different books, right? So we might have a problem, as in the different colleges also use different books. Whether we haven't discussed maybe one or two topics, we never know. For example, purchasing. Your syllabus generally covers the scope, importance, and all that, but suppose they ask you about one type of purchasing, then it's going to be a problem. So I'm going to review every chapter, compare it with all the question papers, find you certain concepts which are not left behind, but which can be discussed suppose the question comes up. Every teacher uses a different book, so I'll just go through the references, see what is there. Okay, classes will happen as usual from here on. Even though the syllabus is complete, attendance will be recorded. Don't lose out. Many of you have lost out on 1 month of attendance. Very dangerous. So you do this, and we'll set in mode. We'll do revisions, because there are certain concepts, even if I call you at 12 o'clock midnight, you should be able to take a class on that concept. So those are very crucial. Those would be taken again. Take it in the right spirit, like how you took it till now, and focus. Okay. POM is huge, syllabus is huge, questions, we might get doubts while seeing the question paper. Let's clarify all this and ensure that everyone does well in exam, be it internal or the final exam. You get the point? So if there's anything, let me know. Notes are getting prepared. Everything is almost in place. All right. Thank you.